All right, here we go. So, number 1 is C. So if you got C, you're good to start working on your own. If you did not get C, I'd recommend being with me. So any questions on number 1? Sorry. If you did not get number 1, I'm about to do it right now. If you did get it, you're on to the homework. So, how do we do number 1? So we've given an equation with some graphs below. I think the best way to attack this is first mapping this function out. Some of you may have forgotten that from before. To map a function means to get the midline, amplitude, and period. The midline is always what is at the very end. So that's y equals -1. The amplitude, remember this a, what comes first, that's 2.5. 5 halves, 2.5, same thing. The period, remember, is 2 pi divided by b. So 2 pi divided by 1/2. So keep, change, flip. So 4 pi. And now because it said sine of x, that means we start at the midline. As you all will recall, here's the sine graph, starts at the middle and goes up, down, up. You'll remember the cosine graph, of course, starts upstairs and comes down. Sine starts at the middle. So we're looking for a graph that starts at the midline. In other words, starts at -1 and has a period of 4 pi. If you look at your graphs, only one of them has that answer, and that is C. Let me take any questions on question number 1. Abel.
For B, you plugged in the 1/2 because it's right inside the differential?
Absolutely right. 1/2 is right here, that's the B value. Very good. Más preguntas? Any more questions? Somebody? 2 is G. So number 2 is G. So which of the following series converges? The answer to this is G. I think in order to attack this problem, of course, you know what the definition of converges is. Obviously, this is old stuff. That's the whole point. Converges, really 2 things about converging that you have to know. The first one is the terms get smaller towards 0. Second thing is the sum of all terms, or of infinite terms if you want, the infinite sum equals a finite, which means not infinity, finite number. Those are 2 things about converging that we need to know. Terms get smaller towards 0, and the sum equals a finite number. So let's look through these. Number 1 says 1, 3, 5. Presumably the next numbers are 7, 9, 11. Arithmetic sequence which has terms that are getting bigger. The terms are going to infinity. They're not going to 0, therefore this one diverges. Looking at number 2, 4, 1, 1/4. That means R is 1/4. Every term is getting smaller. The next one is 1/16, 1/64, 1/256, blah, blah, blah. Terms are getting smaller to 0. Good sign. We converge. And number 3, 1/3, 2/3, 4/3, 8/3, 16/3. Terms are getting bigger. Therefore, we diverge. Only number 2. So. Yep. More questions on number 2? All right, number 3. Number 3, the answer is D, dog. Number 3, the answer is D. Okay. So number 3, as I said, the answer was D. It says, which of the following is false? I think on this one you actually have to go through each answer choice and just try to see which is true, which is false. So the limit as x goes to 1 of this function is equal to 1. Which means, because this is a double-sided limit, which means limit from the left and limit from the right are the same. Let's take a look. So the limit as x goes to 1 from the left, that's this way, coming down, coming down, coming down, y equals 1. From the right, coming down, coming down, coming down, what does y equal? 1. So both sides the limit is 1, that's good. Does not matter about the open circle. Open circle does not matter because limit is what happens when I get close to a point, not what happens when I am at the point. Questions on number 1? Or sorry, excuse me, letter A. Alright, letter B. Limit as x goes to 2 from the left. 2 from the left. Approaching 2 from the left, the y value is going to 2. True. Let's look at C. Limit as x goes to 0 from the right. From the right, as we're going to 0, we get here. Limit as we go to 0 from the left. That's here. Same thing. We're good.
Wait, for number B, why did you go to the right?
No, sorry, I came from the left, right? This is the left.
Yeah.
Letter D, limit as x goes to -1 equals 2. This is double-sided limit, so limit from the left and limit from the right have to be equal. Limit from the left is 1. Limit from the right is 2. 1 does not equal 2. This is false. Questions on that? No? The limit doesn't exist because limit from the left and limit from the right are not equal. Yep. What else? Other questions?
How did you know that it was going both ways?
Because there was no like plus or minus sign here.
So it's supposed to be on top.
Yeah, so like here it's a plus, that means from the right. Alright, number 4 is H, like hotel. Alright, consider the sequence defined by the function a sub n equals 3 times 2 to the negative n. So a sub n equals 3 divided by 2 to the n. Because remember, negative exponent comes downstairs and becomes positive. I think this is easier to deal with. So we know that the sequence cannot be both geometric and arithmetic. So we need to check which of these it is. If n equals 1, what do I have? Then I have 3 over 2 to the first power, which is 3/2. If n is 2, then I have 3 over 2 squared, which is 3/4. If n is 3, then I have 3 over 2 cubed, which is 3/8. So what's going on here? Well, r is 1/2. All I'm doing is multiplying every time by 1/2. So that means this must be a geometric sequence. So 1 is true, 2 is false. And finally, now we need to check number 3, limit as n goes to infinity of a to the n. Let's see what that equals. Well, an is really this. So let's go limit as n goes to infinity of 3 over 2 to the n. Let's put infinity there. So let's go 3 over 2 to the infinity, which is 3 over 2 to the infinity equals 3 over infinity, which equals 0. Which is exactly what they said. So the answer was H, 1 and 3. Questions? Alright, number 5 was A. Number 5 was A. Let's walk through that now. So we got limit as x goes to 5 of x squared minus 6x plus 5 all divided by 5 minus x. Alright, so step 1 is to plug in the 5. So 5 squared minus 5 times 6 plus 5 all over 5 minus 5. 25 minus 30 is negative 5, plus 5 is 0. 5 minus 5 is also 0, so 0 over 0, indeterminate form. Have to do one of 3 things: rewriting, multiplying by the conjugate, or factoring. No square root, so I'm not going to multiply by the conjugate. It's not that there are 2 fractions on the numerator or 2 fractions in the denominator, so I'm not going to rewrite, so I'm going to factor. Also, a quadratic is almost a giveaway to factor. So let's do it. Top of the x box is a 5. 5 times 1 is 5. Bottom of the x box is negative 6. Need 2 things that multiply to 5, add up to negative 6. So it's negative 5, negative 1. Need to get the box now. So this is minus 5 here and minus 1 here. So we've got limit as x goes to 5 of x minus 5 times x minus 1 over 5 minus x. Many people want to cancel these. Cannot do that because this has a negative 5, this has a positive 5. This has a negative x, this has a positive x. So you need to take out a negative 1 on the top. So here's what you need to get to. So you take out the negative 1. Now this becomes a positive 5. It used to be negative, it becomes positive. This used to be positive x, now it becomes negative x. Now these go away. So limit as x goes to 5, negative 1, x minus 1. Put the 5 here. Negative 4. Questions on number 5? Alright. We skipped number 6, right? So we'll go to number 7. The answer on number 7 was C. The answer on number 7 was